having technical problems.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
I kept hitting record, and it kept saying that there was an error. I had to close down Audacity and open it back up.
Oh. That's not good.
So yeah, that's a first.
All figured out, though?
I guess. It seems to be recording, so. Well, it's pre-show time, and it's Thanksgiving.
It is.
Not at the time anyone's hearing this.
Yeah, as of time of recording. Happy St. Valentine's Day.
Yeah, happy. It's Valentine's Day coming up. We all know what that means.
That's right.
It means something.
Wasn't that the patron saint of like killing something somewhere? Or no, that's St. Patrick's.
Oh yeah, St. Patrick's. Yeah, I don't know what St. Valentine did. Probably not a real person.
Overpriced
Probably
chocolate.
made up by the
by the
companies.
By the Fimmins.
It's a corporate. It's a corporate shill.
Yeah, not actually. Is it a saint, or did I just make that up? It's just Valentine's Day. I don't know why I said St. Valentine.
I believe. I don't know.
St. Valentino, I'm sure, is a saint, and for someone that sounds like a possibility.
Let me see here. It is St. Valentine's Day, technically.
It is.
St. Valentine's Day, also called St. Valentine's Day, also called St. Valentine's Day, or the Feast of St. Valentine. It's celebrated annually.
What is it? Is it February 14th, like we know it?
Yep, February 14th. It originated as a Christian feast day honoring a martyr named Valentine.
I got it.
And through later folk traditions, it has also become a significant cultural, religious, and commercial celebration of romance and love in many regions of the world, courtesy of Wikipedia.
Is there a celebration, holiday or otherwise, that is not also a commercial success? Like, is there like a commercial flop in the sense of some kind of celebration or holiday? Like it just didn't work out.
Yeah, let's see.
Because I'm sure like all the ones that we can think of are all commercial successes, clearly.
Let me see. I'm searching commercially failed holidays.
This will be interesting.
Let me see here. There's a bunch of specific like failed Christmas marketing, which is obviously not what we're looking at. Failed holiday campaign stories. I feel like that's the same thing that I just said.
Or like holidays that never happened.
I don't know if this is when AI goes wrong or if it's when Al goes wrong.
When Al goes wrong. It's just a guy named Al. You know, that's another thing too, is like going forward from here, like, sorry, let me have a thought here for a second. So,
okay, I'm with you.
I don't think Al is a very common name currently, right? That's one of those names that's kind of dying out. But since the inception of AI, I wonder if Al will be even less common because it looks like AI. Whenever you write it out.
Yeah. My guess is yes.
Okay, thank you.
We've solved that mystery.
So I don't know if Al was on anyone's like short list for baby names. Albert. Alan. Is Al short for Alan? Can it be?
I'm sure there's people named Alan that go by Al.
Do you shorten 5-letter names? Even shorter? Just the complete laziness of just, you know what, 5's too many.
Yeah, it's like even fewer than that. There's like John being changed to Jack, which is the same number of letters.
Yeah, but old Jackie,
Old Jackie.
Sorry,
that was your defense was but old Jackie, and that was all you had to say about that.
Invented. Yeah, I moved on. Sorry. I was actually waiting for my phone to give me a search result. Invented in 1916. This day was recognized as a joke by the industry that started it. And by 1920, it was recognized as a joke by the industry that started it by 1923. So within 7 years, the industry that started this holiday considered it a joke because the public was not enthusiastic about the holiday created merely to sell merchandise. And this holiday was Candy Day.
Yeah, I can see why that wouldn't catch on.
That's like the only one, though.
That's the only failure story.
Well, I
in the
mean,
holiday.
there's other ones called like Heroes Day and Baby Week, apparently. But I feel like those aren't like. I feel like those fail for other like reasons. Like,
Yeah, and then there's
any time of the day or any time of the year.
then there's those stupid like UN National Day of
National Day of Cheese or what? Like National Hamburger Day.
yes, like just there's something for everything for no reason.
I don't consider that. I think those are just like
things for like your grandma to share with you on Facebook.
oh yeah, exactly. They're just like, hey, today is the day that we all say it's this day. You know. But this one, Candy Day was actually started by
Yeah.
a candy trade journal. So it was actually started as a commercial endeavor, and then the same industry that started it considered it to be a joke 7 years later because it never took off. But it was at least around for 7 years.
Yeah, they had a good run.
Yeah.
It's more than any holidays I've tried to get put in.
Let's see, I'm trying to search another term here. Holidays that never took off. Let's see what that. I'm full of pie right now, just for the listeners, just to have everyone aware of where I'm at physically.
Just to have everyone aware of the state of your stomach.
Yeah.
Well, I found an article that I would like to read, but it's one of these ones where they want you to subscribe to keep reading it.
Oh,
It's,
I hate those, right? It's like everything.
It's
though.
from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. And the title of the article is Some Holidays Fail, Others Thrive.
Others thrive.
And all I can see from it is not many Arkansans know about Sweetest Day. And then I can't see anything else beyond that. Because it wants me to subscribe $1 for 8 weeks.
Yeah, no.
Karen Martin wrote this. She is the senior editor of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette's Weekly Perspective
Well, here's one.
section.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's it. I was just going to... You go ahead.
I think Flag Day is a perfect example of what we're talking about. Flag Day exists. It's a day, but I don't know if it's like a commercial success, right? Like we're not buying extra flags that day or like passing out flags to children that come to our house, or we're not opening flag-based gifts.
We may not be, but I'm sure there's
Well, I mean,
a percentage.
I don't think so. I think like 4th of July takes over that, or like Memorial Day.
No.
Okay.
That's my defense.
No. Well, and also, isn't Flag Day Trump's birthday?
I have no clue.
I thought you were up on that.
I'm unfortunately not.
I
up
guess, is
on
Juneteenth a holiday?
that day or Trump's birthday? I think it.
No, I mean, sorry. No. I don't mean, is it like a day that's celebrated? I mean, like, would you call it a holiday? Or is it just like a day of observance?
I didn't even start to say anything yet.
Don't even say anything out loud yet. I'm going to just jump in and tell you what not to say, even though you were never going to say it.
All right, so on what grounds am I allowed to respond?
Only in
What other conditions
haiku.
under which?
Only in haiku.
That's like a
575.
That's like a 575. Okay,
See,
I almost said
I'm already
3,
jumping in
so.
just to let you know what the answer is.
Well, it's good because I was gonna say, is it 535? I can't remember what haiku is. I'm not gonna do that.
Okay. But is Juneteenth a holiday? I mean, I know that again. I know that like it's a federal observed day.
I don't think.
But
it's,
are we actually like? Listen. I'm not saying like it shouldn't be. I really don't know because I'm just not educated on this. Do we celebrate?
Good save.
Is it like a? I think it is like a independence of some kind. Oh man, I should really look this up, right? Because I'm I'm sounding really
It's
bigoty right now, but I'm not against. I just don't know. I need to know. I need to figure this out. This is me learning.
yeah, it's it's in relation to the Emancipation Proclamation, right?
Is it okay?
Let me now look at the Wikipedia page for Juneteenth.
For some reason, I thought it was like tied to like the Tulsa race massacre.
To commemorate the end of slavery in the United States. The holiday's name first used in the 1890s.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, I knew that it went back.
Portmanteau of June and 19th, obviously, referring
really?
to June 19th, 1865, the day when Major General Gordon Granger ordered the final enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation in
That's
Texas.
awesome. Okay,
at the
so
end
it
of
is a
the
day
American
to
Civil
actually
War.
celebrate, not just like, Memorial
Meanwhile,
Day, where it's sad.
Flag Day, according to the Wikipedia page, is a holiday celebrated on June 14th. It commemorates the adoption of the flag on June 14th, 1777 by resolution of the Second Continental Congress. The flag resolution stated that the flag of the 13 United States be 13 stripes, alternate red and white, that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field representing a new constellation. First proposed in 1861 to rally support for the Union side of the Civil War.
Okay.
So it's not an official federal holiday. Federal law leaves it to the discretion of the president to officially proclaim the observance.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But also,
so we're
like,
all learning something.
Also,
maybe.
like Halloween isn't a federal holiday, but we still observe that.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really have any signifier as far as the importance of something. So Juneteenth. So no, but seriously, I am glad that I actually like definitively learned that. I could have easily looked that up, but for some reason, I was always thinking that it was like a somber day of like something to do with the Tulsa massacre. For some reason, I thought there was a relationship there, and I thought it was more of like a day of observance and memorial and respect rather than what it sounds like it should be, which is a day of celebration.
And you're afraid that you now sound, quote, bigoty?
No, I knew that already. I'm trying to undo that.
Oh. Yeah, so everybody listening is doing the like Homer Simpson creep to the bushes.
We've been canceled, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe we all learned something just now. Maybe nobody did.
I hope that no one did. I hope that everyone listening knew that and celebrates that day accordingly and isn't just an idiot like me.
True. Yeah, so aside from looking up things to see if they are holidays, what have you been up to this week, Will? I'm sure it's been an exciting thrill since we last spoke.
It's been a short week.
Much as it has been
is
for me.
Thursday, so
yeah,
I haven't had my full weekend yet. I mean, it was a pretty.
I assume.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry to cut you off. I was going to say, I assume you are off tomorrow as well.
Yes, Friday.
Since you're up at this, you're going to be up late.
Oh yeah, I would not be awake if I was not off tomorrow.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
But yeah, it was it's a short week, 3 days. Kind of a shitty 3 days at work. It's been cold here. It's finally like late fall, winter has finally arrived, I think, and is going to stay now, at least for the foreseeable future. Like we had some days where it got cold, and then like it even snowed once a few weeks ago. But then, like, shortly after it snowed, it was up to, like, 70 again. Mm-hmm. You know, so it was, like, for a while, it was, like, that back and forth yo-yo of the Midwest where you're going between summer and winter, and it's, like, it's this tug-of-war, right? But I think now we're officially, it's going to be cold from here on out. Like, time.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Here, too.
Yeah, so that's not been fun.
It was snowing last night here.
A lot, or...
I mean, it was coming down more than I thought it was going to, but it was still warm enough that nothing really, there wasn't like any accumulation or anything.
Oh, just enough to say
it was coming down enough to...
It was coming down.
Yeah, enough to even minimize visibility at certain times. But yeah, nothing... Like whenever I got off of work in the morning, there was like nothing really on my car or anything like that I had to brush off. So,
right.
So that was a positive. But yeah, as of yesterday, it's pretty much, it looks like winter is here to stay for me as well. Interesting. I thought so anyway. Fun fact that I learned recently
Making assumptions again, are we?
is I saved it. I saved it.
You did.
So we've still been kind of looking around at potential moving prospects,
Oh yeah.
and she at one point had floated Cleveland, and I've never really had any interest in Cleveland at all, really.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Eh,
Home of the Drew Carey Show.
yeah, that doesn't do anything for me either.
It is a stop on Amtrak.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there's one, yeah, not too far away from here as well. But no, it's just not a place that I've really had any interest in for anything really. Don't really. I
The
just
rivers
don't
used
really
to
give a shit about
be on
Cleveland.
fire.
That's true. Well, the Cuyahoga River famously has caught fire many times.
Many times.
But in looking at these different prospects, one of the main factors that I've been researching is how much it snows at these different places.
Oh yeah.
And I learned that it actually snows more where I live than it does in Cleveland.
Probably because the lake, right? Like the lake has some kind of, like being that close to the water, it like goes over maybe.
I would have assumed that it would have gotten more, actually by quite a bit, but we average where I live almost like I think 15 to 20 inches more a year than they
Yeah.
do there. And Cleveland gets more snow than Calgary up in Canada as
Oh
well,
wow, really?
which I thought was interesting, but barely, but it's still a few more inches average a year. There was a place in Wyoming that she had as like a
I couldn't.
that so or Wyoming, I think it was Montana, my mistake.
Even more, I couldn't.
One of those
Even
same.
less.
But this no, I think it was Utah actually.
Okay.
Which
I'm back in.
and I remember that because the place was just north of Salt Lake City. So this so she had like mentioned that it wasn't like let's think about this, but she was just naming places that are kind of like that she could potentially transfer to. And I was like, do you know how much it would snow there? And I looked it up. That place, I forget the name of the town. It's just north of Salt Lake City. It averages
Ogden.
like 18 inches of snow, like way less than here or Cleveland.
Yeah, because you're on the west side of the mountain.
Yeah, I've discovered that upon looking it up. Whatever the name of this place was, that I can't remember.
Ogden?
Maybe I wouldn't even know if you said it. I don't think that might
So
be
I
it.
shouldn't just keep saying names.
You can if you want. It might be fun for
Farmington?
Geography Minute.
Kaysville?
Here on the pre-show.
Layton?
Layton, yeah, that's a good one.
How far north of Salt Lake?
Not very.
Oh.
That's the best I can give you.
Bountiful?
Yeah, Bountiful.
Bountiful, Utah?
I love that place.
Centerville? Woods Cross?
Yeah,
Or is it just North
all
Salt
those.
Lake? Because North Salt Lake is the most, is the closest to Salt Lake.
That one, I would remember that. No, it was just, I just remember the proximity.
I can't remember what it was called.
Near,
It was north of Salt Lake.
it was north of Salt Lake, but I can't remember it.
Wait.
Yeah, no, so that was interesting.
North of Salt Lake City or north of the Salt Lake?
Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I was naming all those things.
There was a place in New Mexico that was
There
like
you go.
an idea.
It
that
snows
place
there
got
too.
more snow. What else? And then there's multiple places. The high-paying ones are in the Northeast,
Well, yeah.
which is a bummer, where it snows a lot and nobody wants to drive, and it would be stressful to
We
live.
also have more public transportation in the Northeast.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm stuck. I still think Columbus is my number one
Yeah.
place as far as weather, location, just the city in general is pretty nice. That's probably my number one. But I don't know. Cleveland, upon looking into it further, which I didn't get to whenever I was just talking, it seemed slightly more intriguing than I had thought.
Yeah.
But it's still
You had just never
I
considered it before, basically.
yes.
Yeah.
Same with Philadelphia. Philadelphia came up at one point, and I was like, I've never had any interest in visiting Philadelphia. So
I want to visit. I don't want to live there.
I've never had interest in it. Definitely never had interest in either.
I definitely like.
But I don't know.
I want to see all the historic stuff. I want to have authentic cheesesteaks for a day, just multiple.
Just for one day.
Yeah, no, just no. Well, no,
Nothing but cheesesteak.
I'll take
for
more,
one day.
but I'll cut it off at one day. 24 hours of cheesesteak.
That was like whenever we went to Texas, we had to do we had to do our meats. I remember we stopped. I think we stopped in like Dallas, right? Isn't that where that restaurant was that we stopped at on the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that brisket.
At hour 13 of our drive, we stopped for barbecue.
Yeah, I can remember the
with a
Dallas
random
area
person that
pretty
you
vividly.
never like met before.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was nice.
It went pretty good. Yeah, I can remember Dallas pretty specifically, but after Dallas, between that and Austin, I don't remember anything at all.
Because it was another like fucking 4 hours of just Texas.
The thing, what I do remember very vividly was leaving Austin and just like
on the way
being
back.
out in the and being out in like the Texas countryside and thinking like, if I had fallen asleep and woken up just now, you could convince me that I was just back in Indiana again because it just looked the exact same.
Yeah. Well, and then like we left after we went to Bowstrip in the Texas Chainsaw gas station.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the most rural area we had ever been through in Texas too, because it was not on the interstate.
Yeah,
and it seemed like it took forever because I mean, it did. But it took
Yes.
so long to get to Arkansas because
Yes,
it
I
was
remember.
like midnight by the time we got to like someplace outside of Little Rock, I think, and I just had to like pull over and sleep because
took a pit stop at a rest area for a nap.
we'd been up since like 9 that morning.
Yeah, and we were staying up reading through your screenplay of Bittersweet.
I thought that was on the way down.
That was on the way back.
Oh, okay. I don't remember the way back at all.
It was pitch black because the way down, I remember not being that bad as far as being really sleepy.
No,
the way back was horrible as far as like just being exhausted because I did the math after we got back eventually, and I was like, I think we spent 40 hours in a vehicle over the course of that whole weekend.
Yeah, I spent
like
40 hours
of those hours.
I remember all of that. Yeah, no complaints.
Just between the drive there, the drive back, and then the like ride shares when we were in Austin, like spending time in a vehicle, it was about 40 hours.
Yeah,
something like that.
I know that we left. We left because going down was actually really easy, and that because the original plan was that you were supposed to like switch driving at like the halfway mark, but it was such an easy drive down that I didn't. I was like, "There's no point in doing that."
Yeah, you never asked.
Yeah, exactly, because I was fine with it. And I really don't like passenger seating anymore. But anyway, so I just did it, and then we had lunch because we left at like. Did we leave at like midnight or something like that?
It was it was really
like 1 a.m.
Really early. I remember we had to scrape ice and snow off of your car.
Yeah,
whenever we left your house.
Yeah, it was really early in the morning, and then we just drove and like the sunrise. It was great. So like we were getting energized, sunrise and all that stuff, and then. Yeah, and then like lunch hit, and then like the drive between Dallas and Austin felt like the longest section, and because it was getting dark. It was like the sun was going down, and that's whenever like the day was catching up with me as far as being up.
I also vividly remember with the temperature change, your tires, the air pressure in your tires got very high.
Yeah, it did.
And it was like a point where every single little bump we hit in the road, we're like, "Oh God!"
Yeah, I was kinda
and I think we had to stop and let some air out at one point.
Yeah, because I think I did fill them up before we left, maybe, or I did personally before you even got to my place. But yeah, so when we got to Austin finally, and it was like 7 or 8 o'clock, and it was like evening, and we got to the hotel, and then we immediately like went to downtown Austin because it was South by Southwest. We walked around, so we were up, and then did we go to I Love Video that night? That first, I can't recall.
Yeah, I don't remember what night it was either. I don't remember if it was that first night or if it was. It had to have been because
I think it was, yeah.
We didn't stop that last day we were there. We didn't go there again.
Yeah.
We went there It would have been the first 2 days.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So then we
'cause
went
the
to
next day we were kind of pressed for time, and we were even kind of like, are we going to go to that podcast
Yeah.
recording in person? Because we were kind of like, we have a long trip.
It's gonna be a long day. Yeah.
So yeah.
So we went to I Love Video, and then we walked to In and Out, and then we
Yep.
went back to the hotel, and it was like midnight or something. So we had basically been up 24 hours.
I will also note it took some convincing a little bit for me to get you to let me have In and Out.
It did,
because
yeah.
you were very.
I still am. Anti.
You weren't. I don't think you were arguing against it per se, but you were definitely
Yeah.
kind of like, it's fine.
I
And
was
then
basically
I was
trying to like kill your like hype for it. I was like,
well,
and I shouldn't.
I
have.
wouldn't. At least not that I remember. I don't remember it being. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember it being incredibly hype as much as, oh, I'm here and there's an In and Out. I really want to try it.
You were not like overly hype. I'm just saying that was what I was trying to do,
Gotcha.
and I shouldn't have, because it wasn't like you were like super like, this is gonna be the best thing I've ever put in my mouth. You were not doing that at all. You were very reasonable.
Oh my
with like,
God, In and Out right there.
yeah, you were just like, I've never had it and it's right there. We should go.
Yeah,
and I was
always
like,
heard stuff about
it's
it.
a
Yeah.
fucking fast food burger, dude. It's nothing special. Yeah, I should have just shut up and let you have it, I guess. But we did go to have In and Out.
Yeah, and it was good.
Yeah.
And my most positive comment about it is it was the most picturesque fast food burger I've ever had.
Yep. It looked
it was
like
like
it was
the first and only fast food burger I've ever had that actually, if you see like a fucking advertisement for it, that's actually what it looks
Or even
like in
like
person.
on the menu, like if there's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a picture next to the thing,
Yes.
yeah, it looked like that. Yeah,
That is what
I
it
will
looks
give
like.
that.
It's not like you get like the smashed down like weird fucking
Yeah.
thing, and you're like, okay, well, in the ad it looked a lot better.
and it's not that I
No,
don't like In and Out. It's fine.
Yeah,
But having lived in California for 3 years and listening to everyone tell me that it was
Yeah.
like the best burger ever made, and I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, I am from the Midwest. This is not the best burger. It's good. I'm not saying it's disgusting and it's whatever. I just was trying to get to them. I was like, it's not the best. It's fine.
yeah. I will say that from my perspective, it is easily one of the best fast food burgers I've
Fast
ever
food,
had,
yeah,
for
sure.
sure. Yeah, yeah, fast food specific.
The other thing about that Austin place, the Austin In and Out that we went to, it was also like dead, which was great.
Yeah.
Because every experience that I've had with In and Out is at least like a 20-minute wait.
Yeah,
Because they're usually
Yeah,
where I was at, they were always like touristy locations. And they were always just slammed.
it had to have been like 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it
right?
was late.
'Cause I think that's when the video store closed.
Yeah.
we stayed there until they were like,
Until they were
it was
closed.
like 10 minutes before close, pretty much. Yeah.
And then, like I said, by the time we got back to the hotel, I think it was like close to 24 hours that first night. So going down was fine.
Yeah.
But then leaving,
Yeah.
because we had to
Yeah,
wake
'cause
up
it
and
was-
check out.
Was that so the second day was we went to the actual event that we were there for,
Yes.
right? And
was all
then we went to Brian Brushwood's
Compound.
compound
Yes.
/ house.
No.
That was the second day, yeah. Because the third day was the day that we just went to the Wizard Academy.
Yo, yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. So I forgot
So
about that. Yes.
It was the second day. And then we left South by So Wasted, and we walked down to a restaurant. Like a big group of us all walked down
Yep.
to this restaurant a few blocks away.
like some kind of Mexican
and-
restaurant.
We all like mingled and had food and whatnot. And then me and you, I think, left from there and went back to I Love Video.
Yes.
Either we left. I can't remember if we walked around or if we just went straight from there to I Love Video, but we were like, we were going back there, even though we can't rent anything.
wanna
We're just
look.
going to look.
Because we wanted to spend
For
like 3
hours.
hours there, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we went and walked around
then-
South by again that night.
It was either before we went to I Love Video or it was after. I can't remember. It had to have been before if we did it that night too.
'Cause I
can't
can
remember.
recall
I remember
that-
we did the first night for sure.
Was it
Because I remember
was it Nope that was premiering the first night? Or Us?
it would not have been Nope. Definitely
No,
not.
yeah, clearly. Sorry. Yeah, it was either Us or it was the other one I can't remember right now.
I remember, I think there was a Taika Waititi movie that was there. It would have been maybe Thor Ragnarok, I think. I can't remember. But I remember a Taika movie playing. I remember on the marquee and being like, oh, like it's weird thinking that Taika Waititi actually might be like just
right there,
a few feet away from me, kind of. And then just like walking down that street that they had blocked off for the festival.
I don't think it was Get Out. I think it was us.
That was would have had to have been.
Yeah,
I think. And then the third day was, I can't remember if there was anything beforehand or not, but I remember that was going to Wizard Academy. I think I think it was just we went to Wizard Academy, and we got to see the place. I remember
podcast.
That one dude, what's his face, bought us all drinks. Remember that? He bought me. The dude with the beard, I don't remember what his name was.
Sure.
The dude with the beard. All of them have.
Yeah, just narrows it down to 5.
It wasn't one of the Modern Rogue guys. No, it wasn't one of the Scoops guys. He's the dark hair, and he had kind of like a full beard.
I think it was Jacob.
I can't confirm.
Or it could have been Matt too. I don't know if he had a beard then or not.
I can't remember.
Anyway, I know. I remember the moment. That was all that mattered.
Yeah, this one dude with a beard whom I've never seen before or since.
Also, who you aren't a fan of.
Yeah, who was a very nice fellow.
He was great as a person.
He bought me I think an Angry Orchard is what I got, because I was like, I don't really like beer and I don't know what to get.
That was the thing that we did the second day going back. We went to the compound first, and then that evening or the afternoon, there was that indoor show where it was like the Modern Rogue was on stage, and then a couple other podcasts. And
that was the second day, yeah.
And then but that wasn't at the compound. That was at another venue,
right?
Yeah,
correct. Yes,
yeah.
We went
from
like
that
venue
in the video for that.
Yes,
yeah.
On the Modern Rogue, their live video from that, you can clearly see us. And I've shown my partner because I remember they specifically was like Brian had like a fire wallet.
Yeah.
And Jason was putting it out with white vinegar.
Yes, I remember that.
And
no, it was like white vinegar and like
white vinegar
soda?
with mixed with something that made it like erupt.
Oh, yeah.
And so whenever he released that and it shot everywhere, you can see me in the background pretty clearly go, oh shit. And I remember the dude, because it was me and you, and then the dude to my left, a random guy, was the end of our row.
Yes.
And I remember whenever that vinegar shot out, that dude looked down at himself and he goes, oh, that's great. He got drenched.
I have.
And he didn't really seem that pleased.
I have that wallet.
Oh, you bought it from his shop?
Yes, I've had it for years. I haven't ever used it, but yeah.
I did not know this.
Yes. But yeah,
so you can just ignite that anytime you want,
and then spray vinegar on it, and hopefully it splashes on someone next to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because it was after their show that. So I remember there was like a rapper dude, and then the Modern Rogue show, and then
there was that, yeah. I remember that, yeah.
And then the Scoops guys, I think.
Yeah.
And then it was like them plus Brian and the dark-haired man with the beard who bought me my drink.
That's right. Yeah. But that wasn't at the Wizarding Academy. That was just at the other
correct.
Other venue.
Yes,
yeah.
that was at like a bar.
Yeah. Because then that was where we walked from there to the Mexican food place. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I totally forgot that middle section for a moment. I just remembered the compound tour in the morning.
Yeah, and I think that might have been the third day that we went to the compound, because I think our dilemma was, because they were like the small group of us that were at the compound place. It was like, okay, we're going to go to the Wizard Academy from here.
Yeah. And
me and you were kind of like, we have a long trip. We don't know if we're going to do that part or not. And then we decided, fuck it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, because we got Torchy's Tacos that morning.
Correct.
And then we did the compound tour before it was
some dude had like homemade beer.
I don't remember that at all.
I did not drink any of it, but I remember this dude had a
Probably.
keg that had like homemade beer that everybody was drinking.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, and then we left from the academy, drove to Bowstrip, middle of nowhere, basically. It felt like. Went to the gas station. Didn't even like plan. I don't think we really planned on doing much there other than like seeing it. And then we went inside and had like barbecue and like bought some merch, and it was a fucking awesome experience. Personally,
Yeah.
I was like,
That was our favorite food of the whole trip.
It was fantastic.
I remember, we had brisket, which was really good, but I remember specifically the fucking baked beans were like the best that I've ever had in my life.
Oh wow.
Yes, I remember that.
I recall the brisket or whatever. I think I had a sausage too. And then I don't know. I think I also had the baked beans, but I think I had like a some kind of like cheesy hash brown or something. It was all really good. But then like that was at like 5 in the afternoon, 5 in the evening.
Yep.
So we had been up that morning already like 9 hours basically. And then now we're going to start heading back the 16-hour drive home. Yeah.
Yeah. And I really wanted to see, I really wanted to go to the like cliff from the final shot of Slacker.
Yeah.
Where
we drove sort of
they
near it.
throw the 8mm camera off. It was on like the opposites. Like to go to that, we would have had to have gone the complete opposite direction that we needed to go to go home. It was like the southwest.
I mean that like sorry. I mean that I think it was either driving to the compound or driving to somewhere. We drove by that sort of location at first because that was whenever you first pointed it out.
Yeah.
And that was what sparked the whole thing. Like, go to that.
Uh-huh.
And I also still wanted to go to the actual Texas Chainsaw House, but that was in a completely different location.
Yeah.
So we didn't do that. But yeah, so that drive home sucked. It was so bad. And then, like I said, it was like midnight, and I had planned on getting as far as I possibly could, but I was like, I cannot go any further.
Yeah.
So we slept in like the parking lot for...
Didn't you stop a couple of times? I think you stopped... I think
after
that
you
maybe. Stopped like twice. I think you stopped twice for a nap. I could be wrong, but I remember at least once.
Maybe, like I said, maybe after
twice.
that first midnight stop in Arkansas, I might have stopped again, but I don't really remember.
After we finished that script, I remember just being out, and then
you slept
I would
next
wake
to
up
me.
periodically. I would wake up periodically, and it was just dark and road, and I would just fall back to sleep.
No, I remember like it was somewhere between like Memphis and like the Indiana-Illinois border somewhere, and you had fallen asleep, and it was like daytime. It was like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. You had fallen asleep for a bit, and then you woke up, and you were like pissed off because the scenery had not changed. I can recall that you were like, where are we? And I was like, still fucking the same road. And it had been like 2 hours, and it looked exactly the same. And you're like, this fucking sucks. I was like, yeah, it does. Trust me. It's like nothing to look at. I can't even crank the music because I didn't want to like, like blast you out of sleep or anything. I guess I could have. But...
The hype of the trip was
it was gone.
Quick.
We left the trip like 2 states back. It was just like, here we go. Yeah. Got to go back now.
Yeah, and so we got back to your place, and then I remember very clearly a friend of mine, one of our foreign exchange students, my junior year of high school, Marika, she was in town for that little stretch of time, and so whenever we got back from Texas, I immediately went and met up with her and mingled with her for a little bit, and then I left from there to drive back to Anderson where I live. Yeah. So I still had 3 more hours of driving after that.
It's a long day.
Yes.
It's a long 40-hour day.
That sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really long.
That trip home sucked. Like just that, and again, it was only because we had done so much that like morning and afternoon.
Yeah.
But that trip back...
Yeah, we had a full day before we even hit the road.
And then a full meal like before we even got on the road.
Yeah.
So that trip back sucked way more than anything I've ever done, and that includes the 24-hour round trip to Atlanta and back.
Yes, I was going to bring that up next.
Because that was fine. Like, the only weird part about that was that we were literally like in that. I can't recall. Like, it was in like Kentucky, I think, but it was some like little gas station town, and we were literally like on the minute pulling into that same gas station. 24 hours later, like going the other direction. And I was like, holy shit, this is weird. But I mean, that was fine though. I think I actually like dozed off for like half an hour during the Mystery Science Theater show. Only because it was dark and it was like I was comfy in that seat. But other than that, I was fine. Yeah.
I got really tired as we were crossing Indiana. I can remember falling asleep on I-69 with like the sunrise shining outside and being like, oh my God, I don't know if I can stay awake anymore.
Yeah.
No, that was fun though. And then
that was such a spontaneous, because wasn't that one that I was like, hey, do you want to go with me to a concert?
Yeah, that was just like the day before or something. You're like, hey, you want to go to this?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm free.
Yeah, because I literally didn't, well, I knew it was happening, but then I totally forgot, because I saw on like the tour poster 2 months before that it was happening. And I was like, I'm going to go to that. And then I forgot. And then like the day before it happened, I was like, oh shit, that's tomorrow. Fuck. So I recall I put in time off for that because I think it was a Friday. It might have been a Friday.
Yeah.
I think it was a Friday night show. So I got off work. And then I think I took like a 2-hour power nap, and then we left at like 8 in the morning or 7 in the morning or whatever. Drove straight down, got down there. So it's like an 8-hour drive. Got down there. We had to like kill a couple hours in like that mall or whatever before the show.
I don't remember that.
And then we went to the show. And then we got in the car and drove straight back. There's no hotel, nothing. Yeah. I'm sure.
The only memories I have of it were the sunrise in Indiana as I was trying to not fall asleep. I remember standing outside of the venue waiting to get in.
Yeah.
And I can remember like parts of the show itself, but other than that, I don't really remember anything else.
I want to say because the mall was attached to the parking garage that we parked in, so we like it was like sort of like a subterranean entrance to the mall because we were in like the parking garage level. I remember walking around; and it was kind of dead-ish because it was late, and then it was even more dead after the concert. And then leaving was just crazy because it was like downtown Atlanta traffic trying to get out of that place.
Yeah, Friday night.
Like every other street name is Peachtree something. And you're just like, I've already passed 4 peach trees. Where am I at? And the GPS is like, turn left on Peachtree. And I'm like, fuck, which one? Fuck, God damn it. Yeah. So that was stupid to get out of. But then, we were back. And like I said, the hardest part, not the hardest, like I said, the weirdest part about that trip was that moment of pulling into that little, I was like, hey, it's the same gas station. And then I looked down at the clock and I was like, oh, fuck, we were here exactly 24 hours ago, like almost to the minute. It was wild. Yeah. And I had been up since...
Spontaneous trips were fun.
Basically the day before at work, so.
Yeah. Yeah, good times.
It was. I haven't done a long trip like that in forever.
Yeah, no, the last long-ish trip that I did wasn't as spontaneous, but we got an Airbnb in Virginia a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
And that was like a 6-hour drive one way. One of my favorite places that we've stayed, actually, that house that we stayed at was fucking great. And we really wanted to go back. And then there was a time where I was looking into renting that place again to go back, and that house was no longer available. It had like sold.
Oh, I think it was like bulldozed or something.
No, I mean,
it was
I can't
privately
say
owned.
It wasn't.
Whatever.
Yeah. It was really nice. It was like a 3-story house. I remember laughing at the end of our trip because like we kind of realized that like my partner had spent most of the time in the upstairs bedroom, and I was in the basement, like the third floor. And every now and then she would like come down and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then go back upstairs. And then just every now and then I'd go upstairs.
It was a trip away to get away.
Right.
Well, I mean, like,
No,
I guess like apartment living or whatever, like, you do kind of have a hunger for a little bit more of like stretching space,
there was definitely like oh my God, I don't have to think about like neighbors or anyone above me. So like while she was on the third floor, I was down in the basement, and I was like fucking cranking up music or like the TV, turning it really loud. It was excellent. So yeah, it's a bummer that we can't go back there. The other trip that I really wanted to do, that I still really want to do, is I wanted to go to Muhammad Ali's training compound in Pennsylvania.
Oh, really?
It's like a 4.5 or 5 hour drive from where I live.
Really?
Yeah, and so that's something that I've always wanted to do, but just
do you want to go like
don't
train?
think about it.
Do you want to go like
yeah. Just hit the old bag for a little bit. No, I think that I definitely went through a big stretch where I was like obsessed with Muhammad Ali a couple years ago. It was like a weird random obsession. It started out just like as a rabbit hole thing. I think I randomly, I don't know what prompted it or if it was completely random, but I had thought at one point like, oh, I wonder if like on YouTube, I bet I could watch like Muhammad Ali fights. I don't know how that came up or why, but it came up, and I watched one, and I was like, okay, that was actually pretty entertaining and exciting. And then I watched another one, and then it just sent me down this deep, intense rabbit hole of just like reading and like learning everything about Muhammad Ali and watching like tons of interviews with him from like talk shows back in the day, and reading like biographies of him. And all kinds of different stuff. There was like a book by Norman Mailer called The Fight that was about the Muhammad Ali George Foreman fight. It was really good. No, I got like deep obsessed with this. And then I found out that his training compound in Pennsylvania, because I watched a Dick Cavett thing. He had like where Dick Cavett went to the training place, and Muhammad Ali was like showing him around. And I was like, huh. And I just looked up
where is this,
the name of that town, and that place is still there, and they kept it pretty much the exact same. So if you go to it,
awesome,
like everything interior and everything, it looks just like it did in the fucking 70s whenever he had it built. And I've always wanted to go there and just see that place in person. I think that'd be really neat.
Have you always wanted to go there, or was it since that deep dive?
Since that deep dive, yeah.
Okay.
Because I didn't really know anything about him beforehand, other than just like
he has a grill,
famous boxer.
Oh, sorry.
George Foreman. Yeah, I knew he had a grill, but I didn't know he was a boxer. That threw me for a loop.
And aren't like all of his sons named George?
Yeah, he has a bunch of kids named fucking George. Yeah. No, I definitely knew George Foreman was a boxer, and
wait,
but no, I didn't really.
This guy that has a panini press is also an athlete. What the hell?
I knew that he was a boxer, I think, before that, because
I think so.
I think on the PlayStation 1, there was like, I remember as a little kid, we had a boxing video game, and George Foreman was on the cover.
Right, yeah.
And so I think I knew him as a boxer from that before I knew about him as the grill guy.
I think most people did, yeah.
But I don't know. I think people my generation mostly know of him as the grill guy. I think people my age, I do think so, yeah.
I think because of video games, I think
if
there's
you,
still that knowledge.
I think there's no way to prove or disprove any of this, but I would guess people my age, if you said George Foreman, the first thing they would think of is, oh yeah, the guy that made like the grill guy.
I'm not going to argue that.
And I think that a lot of them would be surprised to learn that he was also a boxer.
Okay,
there was like a resurgent thing a few years ago. I remember there was like a resurgence of people discovering like, oh my God, did you know The Rock was a wrestler?
No, yeah, that is true. Yeah. But I also think
that's really weird.
Yeah, but I also think that was like mostly online, and most of those people were like 13. So
yeah.
So a little bit younger than you, I could maybe more likely agree with with being surprised to learn that George Foreman was an athlete. But I think your age, I think there's still a majority that at least know of him from a video game or some kind of reference, or like their parent or older sibling. There was some kind of like by proxy learning that the guy that has a George Foreman grill company also was a boxer. But I do agree that I think the first thought would be the grill guy. Yes.
Right in.
Yeah.
If you're 30...
right in Gen Alpha or whatever it is now.
Yeah, I'm in the millennial class. If you're a millennial, write in. Let us know if you knew George Foreman was a boxer.
Are you millennial? You must be like right on the edge.
I'm a millennial, yeah.
Like right on the cusp.
I looked this up. Yeah, I've read about this before.
Because you were born in
96.
96 is right on the edge, right? 97?
I don't know. I don't know. Everywhere I've looked says something different. One place says up to 2000. Another thing says it ends in like 97, 98 or something like that.
Because I think Jen's...
everything that I've looked at says a different thing as far as what birth date falls under which generational label.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you're in there. Yeah.
I'm in the mix.
You're in the mix. Yeah. So late stage millennial for sure. Because millennial also goes back to like the 80s.
1980.
Yeah. So
a lot of things that I looked at said it started in like
83?
Starts in like 1980. One of them said 85. I think it's whatever.
So those kids I think very much do know of George Foreman as the athlete.
Probably because he came back in the 90s. So
that's right.
So yeah, they were kicking.
They were kicking, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I never knew anything about Muhammad Ali other than like, oh yeah, he was like a good boxer.
Yeah.
And
he's a name, right?
And was like important for like civil rights in some way.
I
didn't know anything beyond that.
I knew he was also like the reason he changed his name was for like the pacifism.
He became a Muslim.
Yeah.
Yeah, he because he was Cassius Clay originally, and he ended up he became friends with like Malcolm X,
right?
And kind of converted him to Islam.
And it was a huge thing during I don't remember which war it was, if it was Vietnam or Korea.
Vietnam. He was drafted.
Yeah. And he basically said
and
that
he
refused was his beliefs. Yeah,
he refused to go. Yeah, there's like a quote that's kind of famous, even though if I recall correctly, there's no like actual evidence that he said it.
Oh.
But there's a quote that's famously attributed to him where he said something about like, I'm not gonna go like fight this war. He said something like, I don't have anything against those people. No Viet Cong ever called me N-word.
Right. I have heard of that. Yeah. I have heard that quote.
Yeah, and there's like a whole thing about him winning the Olympic gold medal whenever he was younger and coming back to his hometown in Louisville, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And like this restaurant that he went into wouldn't serve him because he's black.
Yeah.
And the legend of that story is that he like took his gold medal and like threw it into the river because he was just like, what fucking good is this if I can't even like get a meal in my own hometown? There's like no point in this. Yeah. And then he was incredibly problematic too. He was said a lot of very racist shit towards Joe Frazier, which he always defended as just like, oh, I was hyping up the fight and whatever. But he said a lot of pretty
cancelable stuff today.
But yeah, yeah, because he like branded himself as like he was like the black civil rights hero character, which even though Joe Frazier was the one that actually grew up in like the rougher neighborhood and had like a more like from rags to riches like quote unquote like a black folk hero kind of story, whereas Muhammad Ali grew up in like a decent family and like didn't really have too many struggles in his life growing up, really comparatively.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's all really interesting. I got deeply obsessed.
You did,
watching
because
all
I
kinds
can
of
recall
documentaries and everything.
That moment or that span of time where you got really deep into that, because like Thomas will send me random things that he's into, but usually it fits like an expectation. And then like one day you send me like a YouTube video of like Muhammad Ali boxing, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, where did this come from? Like, there was no like, no lead up to it, and then I don't even know if I even like responded to it or anything.
Probably not,
because I was just like, okay, I don't know how to address this.
Like, all right, cool.
And then you sent me like another one, and then you had this whole like a scrolling write up of a text about just your fascination with Muhammad Ali and everything. I was like, wow, okay,
all right, good on you.
Yeah, okay. Like just like a week ago, this was like a film discussion we were having, and now it's
yeah. No, I got deep into it. I bought like there's like a pretty rare documentary that I was able to track down on DVD that I bought that was really good that I've watched like twice. It's like 5 hours long. I watched like every talk show interview and everything I could find. There was like a really good
soaking it in.
This is your life or whatever. There was like a really good episode with him that like made me cry. It was so good. Yeah, just all kinds of stuff. And then learning about him, obviously the boxing stuff, but also his personal life and I don't know. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of wild stuff. There's like I watched every single fight of his that I could find footage from, except for his final fight against Trevor Berbick. Even though that one is available on YouTube in full, I cannot bring myself to watch
Why is that?
it. Like, that would be horribly depressing
really?
to watch. Yeah, because his health was like really bad at that point. And so that fight, from what I understand, was just him getting like beat up. And so there was like one of his final fights was against this like young kid, Leon Spinks, and Muhammad Ali just got his fucking ass kicked.
Ouch.
And it was like, it's really depressing because he's like old, and according to the story, he like failed his like health examination. Like the doctors were like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing this. His coordination was already failing and his hands were starting to shake at this point. But like somehow he was able to like, somehow he still fought. He got his ass kicked really bad, really depressing to watch. And then he was like, okay, I'm retiring. This was like the 20th time he said, okay, that's it. That's my last fight. But then, so he lost his title to this dude, this young kid. This was like this guy's like 10th fight or something like that. Like this was one of those where it's just like, this was supposed to be essentially more or less, I mean, it was for a title, but it was more or less supposed to be just like Muhammad Ali, like a fight to make him look good, like a little easy fight against this young kid. And this fucking dude just beat the shit out of him.
Ouch.
And then Muhammad Ali ended up going back on his retirement thing, and he like trained really hard and got kind of back into shape again. And according to legend, was also drugged up pretty good and went out there and fucking won his rematch and looked good. And then he was like, okay, that's it. I'm retiring. He was the first fighter to win the title 3 times.
That's pretty awesome.
At that point. And he was like, okay, that's it. And then, like an idiot, he decided to come back again, and he fought this like weirdly illegal, like it's not supposed to have been like it didn't pass like what is it? Whatever boxing organization, it was like not approved by these people.
Okay.
And so this just like weird fight that was in like Puerto Rico or some place that was like
a
they were able
thing
to like go like under the radar and do this fight here, even though they're not legally supposed to. And he fought this fight, and from what I understand, he just like got his fucking ass kicked, and then that was it real that time. And I can't get myself to watch that because that Leon Spinks fight was bad enough.
Oh, I see.
Just like really, really depressing, difficult to watch.
What if you pretended to be like a hater of Muhammad Ali? Could that...
Like a big fan of Trevor Berbick? Yeah, beat his ass.
Yeah, beat his ass.
Beat that legend's ass.
New champion. Yeah.
It's so, it actually interestingly jumped me off because after the Muhammad Ali obsession phase was kind of dying down a little bit, it spurred me into a new kind of like a succession of like beginning to watch all of the old Mike Tyson fights. And I started
recall
watching
this
all of
part
those.
of it too. Yes.
Yeah, and then I went down these rabbit holes and learning about him raping a woman and
Yeah.
all this other stuff that he did. That's really great that people ignore. And yeah, so I started watching all those, and he fought Trevor Berbick back in those days, and he said that it was his like getting revenge for Muhammad Ali fight. And yeah, he fucking, I think that was one of his first round knockouts. He fucking laid that dude out, and it's really disturbing because it's like that Trevor Berbick dude gets knocked down and he tries to like spring right back up, but his legs aren't there. And so he's like stumbling around and he like falls over and tries to get back up, but he like can't stand up properly and he falls down.
Miscommunicating.
And the fight gets called off at that point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that stuff is really fucking disturbing to watch, I think. I hate watching those like knockouts where a dude goes down and their limbs like go stiff. It fucking disturbs me.
You can just see like the instant like fragility of humans.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really, despite all of this, I really do not like boxing. And I really struggle to watch a lot of that stuff because it's just that like the brain getting rattled in your head to the point where your brain just says nope and shuts everything off briefly.
Mode. Yeah.
That really upsets me.
Yeah.
And
and that was why like I was again shocked because I think this is like the same like run where like it went from the Muhammad Ali stuff to the Tyson bit dabbling to up to like modern day boxing. I wanted to say, like, didn't you watch like a modern day?
Yeah, there was I think like a year ago or so there was like a big championship fight. It was this British boxer Tyson Fury versus this Ukrainian boxer Alexander Usyk, and it was a title fight. This Alexander Usyk dude was like undefeated. The Tyson Fury guy was undefeated, and like boxing is really stupid in that there's like 50 different title belts. It seems like. I mean, in all seriousness, there's like a handful of them, but it's not just like one world heavyweight champion and you're the king. No, there's like all of these different organizations have their own belt.
Right.
And so this fight was like one fighter had a couple of these belts, the other fighter had a couple of these belts, and whoever won it was like going to be the first person to unify all of them in like 25 years.
I see.
And so there was a lot of hype built up. Apparently this is a fight that people had been wanting to happen for like several years now. I guess these are like the top two guys. I'm not in the loop on modern boxing. And so reading about this stuff, I kind of was like, I'll give it a go.
Sure. Yeah.
And I bought the pay-per-view and I watched it, and it was a very exciting fight. A lot of the undercard stuff was pretty boring from what I recall, but the actual main event was pretty exciting. And it ended with a note of like, there's probably going to be a rematch. And I was like, okay, we're getting that rematch. And then as time came, I was kind of like, I've kind of lost interest. And then the rematch happened and I didn't watch it. And I still have never watched it or seen any footage from it.
So the deep dive, you surfaced from the deep dive and you've not gone back to the depths.
Yeah, I haven't watched any boxing at all since that pay-per-view match.
You got your fill.
Yeah, it was an exciting match, but
it was like a solid like 9 months of you.
The Muhammad Ali stuff was probably like a year-ish.
Okay.
And then I was in the Mike Tyson stuff a lot shorter than that.
Yeah.
I watched all of those old fights of his, and then that was kind of all I really cared about. And then learning about a little bit of his personal life stuff, and I was like, I don't really want to learn any more about it. Whereas Muhammad Ali has a whole bunch of stuff that was like fascinating to learn and kind of pretty admirable, because there is that kind of problematic stuff with his like promotion for fights and whatnot, but he also did a lot of obviously like really great things for the black community, and there's a lot of really admirable stuff. There's like a story that I had never heard before where this was in like the late 80s, I think. And he was out of boxing for a while at this point, I believe, for a few years at least. And his health was declining pretty well. And there was this guy I can't remember where this was, but there was a guy who was like threatening to kill himself.
Oh.
And he was like going to jump out of his window of this building. And he had like the window open and he was like on the ledge.
Oh, gosh.
And he was a black gentleman. And Muhammad Ali, by complete chance, was like walking by this as it was happening. And he took it upon himself to go into the building and he talked the guy down.
Wow.
And essentially saved his life. Yeah.
That's insane.
Like I thought that was an amazing story.
Yeah.
I don't know, just a lot of cool stuff like that I really appreciated. And I enjoyed his stuff with Joe Frazier was very, like just their back and forth together was always entertaining. I thought, even despite the problematic stuff, it's always entertaining to see those two guys.
That makes sense.
Because Ali would shit talk a lot. Like, and all of his fights, whenever they have the moment where like the ref brings them into the center and he's like going over the rules and whatever, and he's like, all right, have a clean fight. And they like, touch gloves and whatever. And whenever the ref is giving the rules and stuff in all of these fights, whenever the camera is on Muhammad Ali, you just see him running his mouth because he's talking shit to the other fighter, like to their face. And he said that Joe Frazier was the only one that ever talked back.
Oh, really?
And so whenever you watch their fights, you can see both of them like smiling and fucking talking shit back and forth. It's fucking
That's
excellent.
Awesome.
And there was like one of my favorite ones, coincidentally, is the George Foreman one. Was really, really a great one, and he probably should have retired after that fight. But there's like a whole Norman Mailer's book, The Fight. Is fascinating because Norman Mailer was there for this book. He was like there and he was like in the locker room and everything, like in preparation for the fight, and he was like with Muhammad Ali during like his training and all this stuff.
He was in there,
and he talks about being in the locker room before the fight and nobody had any faith in Muhammad Ali. This was like George Foreman at this point was seen as this like unstoppable brute. Like nobody had come even close to beating him in a fight. He had Joe Frazier had beaten Muhammad Ali, and then Joe Frazier fought George Foreman, and George Foreman fucking destroyed him in like 2 rounds. It made it look really easy.
Wow.
And so going into this fight, everybody was like, George Foreman's going to win. It's not going to be even close. Muhammad Ali was getting kind of older at this point and had lost 1 or 2 fights at this point. And so he talks about being in the locker room and nobody on his crew would like look at him.
Oh man, that's tough.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And he said that it was just like dead silent and everybody was just kind of like looking down. And he said that, not being hyperbolic, everybody legitimately thought George Foreman was going to kill him.
Oh,
they thought that Muhammad Ali wasn't
end.
coming out of that ring.
Yeah.
And he writes about fucking Ali going up to his like trainers and everybody and like trying to psych him up a little bit and like all this stuff, and everybody's just kind of like,
yeah, that's my boss.
And so it's interesting. I loved reading about all that stuff and then like watching the fight again and seeing them come out and being like, man, everybody knows, or at least to them knows that this is fucking like it pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like watching Ali and him having to like psychologically overcome this fucking atmosphere to still go out and win is fascinating. And you can see him talking shit to George Foreman in the middle of the ring before the fight, and it's fucking great. And that fight was awesome. Yeah, it's just great stuff. I don't know. I still really enjoy all that stuff. I just haven't
really
watched
fascinating, but that doesn't mean that you want to dive back into the sport as a whole.
Yeah. There was the one that I got obsessed with the most. Aside from that, was his third fight with Joe Frazier, the third and final one called the Thrilla in Manila.
I've heard of it. Right. Pretty famous.
That is like the best boxing match I've ever seen in my life. If he didn't retire after the Foreman match, like he 100% should have retired after that fight, because that was it. Yeah, that fight is so exciting and fucking crazy. I think there was a quote from Ali after that fight where he said like him and Frazier went into the ring as champions and they left as old men.
Oh,
they had like,
that's good,
because it was like a and he there was like, they were both like dying because it was like 100+ degrees in there. Tropics. Like at the ring.
Yeah.
They were both like sweating profusely, and I think they had both lost like a ton of weight over the course of the fight, and like it was about to be the final round, and Frazier called it. He didn't come out for the final round, and so that was the end of it. And Ali has said that like they were about to call it quits, but Frazier's corner called it first.
Yeah,
and you can see there's a shot. There's a shot after it's called, and like, you know, like the press and everybody comes into the ring and everything, where Ali like stands up and he actually like collapses. Wow. And as I read, he actually had like fainted.
Oh gosh.
And they had like put him up, and there's like another shot of him where he's like sitting in a chair and he's like hunched over, and you can just see it on his face that he's fucking like close to death.
Just done.
They were like, both of them were like legitimately close to death after that fight, and I think Frazier was hospitalized for a period of time afterward. Yeah, they were like both almost died, pretty much.
That's insane.
That fight is fucking wild.
Yeah, I've just never been into like stuff like that where you're just. I mean, I get that there's some
watching two guys like punch each other in the head a lot.
Yeah, just I mean, like, and even it's though
unpleasant,
wrestling is, you know, there's some choreography and there's some planning. It's still, you know, it's still a rough sport, if you want to call it that, or a rough, you know, activity or whatever, right? I've never even been into that stuff.
There's a bunch of stuff that I've watched where they talk about, like, you know, how there's this whole thing about wrestling's fake and whatnot, and they're like, well, wrestling is scripted, but they're still doing this stuff. Doing this.
Like, the human body is still doing that stuff.
Yes.
And like there might be ways to, like, you know, soften a blow or to make it look more intense or whatever, but it's like you're still taking a chair to the head. You know, it's you know, you're still getting hit with things, or, you know, thrown down on the ground, or
jumping several feet through the air and like landing on a person while trying to strategically do it in such a way that you're not gonna like incapacitate them.
Your knees are still taking a blow. Your own back is still taking a blow. So I don't know. As I guess as fascinating as that stuff can be to some people, and even like less intentionally rough activities, you know, like boxing, clearly the point is to punch and to, you know, hurt the other person, at least in a certain manner. But I've also not like ever been interested in like even football or like other contact sports, just for the same fact of like, I just don't have any interest in seeing like adults bash each other for the sake of other people's entertainment. I just, you know, it's like, I don't know, you know, now like Olympic wrestling, I guess is there a different name for that? But like, you know, like where they're
wrestling?
No, not wrestling.
Wrestling.
To me, wrestling is like WWE. But like the wrestling, you know, the more enunciated
wrestling.
Yes. Like that, you know, that type of sport, I've found at least partially fascinating, to like a, you know, very slim margin every 4 years that I get to see it, right? But again, only because that seems to be more of like a strength of, or a skill of strength rather than just like brute force, you know. Which again,
You're not really like punching the other person, like in the head.
And I'm not trying to downplay,
like trying to strategically pin or like overpower the other person.
So like it seems
like,
to be
like beating them
slightly, at least to my untrained eye. There seems to be more strategy in that type. And again, I'm not trying to like downplay or dumb down boxing. I totally understand that there's like strategy and there's technique and there's lots of training and, you know, athleticism in that as well. But it's just like the actual physical abuse that the body's taking is just like, why do we have? And then, you know, and then the gross part that like, it seems like a lot of those. What's that?
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
I was going to make a comment, but then I stopped talking as I started.
It just seems like the gross part about those sports, with like maybe hockey being the exception, is that it seems like a lot of minorities early on were placed into those sports for the entertainment of white people. And
it's very dystopic.
And as you know, as great as those athletes became in their own right,
and then it's also a different angle is like seeing how a person can become a success, like from nothing become a success based on their talents
Yeah.
within that sport. Like Joe Frazier, for example, like
Right.
somebody who maybe wasn't really educated and maybe wouldn't have had a better chance with another avenue,
Right. Yeah.
could still become a successful person in this. Yeah, there's like weird,
Yeah.
difficult contrasts with these because it is very dystopic, and it does kind of harken back to like a slave era, like a Mandingo fight,
Or even
type
further back
situation.
to like, like a gladiatorial type
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Where, which again, I do believe the gladiators were also slaves of some, like they were forced into that. Right. It wasn't like
Yeah.
they, signed a contract
They
and got
volunteered to
Yeah.
fight to the death.
yeah, for, money
Yeah.
and like a Nike scholarship or Nike sponsorship, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's that sort of like grotesque thing about those types of sport that I just don't.
Yeah.
I haven't ever been able to get into. I much prefer like a team sport, and I also much prefer like a sport that is purely based on like skill and strategy, which there are very few of. Because a lot of times it's like it also, you need to have like a certain amount of genetic benefit or whatever, to be a dominant player in whatever sport that is, right? And that's not always the case. Like there definitely are many exceptions to that, but it definitely seems like a lot of sport is based off of the genetics of a person, right? And I also find that a little bit gross. And that's why I love curling, because I think curling is the ultimate sport in the sense that it's almost pure strategy. No strength is
Yeah.
involved as far as strength compared to your opponent, and no one dies. There's absolutely no risk of injury or
Yeah.
long term.
Well, one could trip. You can trip.
It could. I mean, the ice is
Slip.
slick. The ice is slick.
Yeah.
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 But I mean, but also, to make fun of, like, I don't want to say that like curling is more of a sport or less of I'm not having that argument, because clearly, like, there is a group of people out there who like to define sport based off of how aggressive it is or how tough or how hard it is, and maybe that argument is to be had. I don't know. I'm not a fan enough to know one from the other, but I will say that like curling is the least sporty sport.
It's just like shaving ice.
No, I mean it just no. And again, I'm not talking about like athleticism or aggressiveness. I'm talking purely about like it seems more like a game than it does.
Yeah.
But again, sorry to all the curlers out there who are listening right now. I don't want to offend you either. I know that
Your
there's
sport seems really pointless and stupid.
but it's really fucking entertaining to me because no one's getting hurt, and I like that.
Yeah, I think that was part of what got me into the Muhammad Ali thing, is not really the boxing fights themselves necessarily, even though a lot of those were pretty. I did admittedly really enjoy a lot of those as well. Yeah. But just like his personality, definitely, which
that helps.
I mean, is definitely like what everybody got obsessed with. But his very very flowery personality and very like eloquent, interesting speaker. Seemed fairly intelligent.
But he could also like destroy you in the ring. Yeah,
and then just and like the physicality of it also, just how like quick he was, because there's like before the Vietnam draft thing happened and he got banned for like 2 years or whatever it was, he was like it is fascinating on some different level to watch his fights from before the draft whenever he was younger.
Yeah.
Because he was just like quick, so quick, and he could like nobody could hit him because he was able to move so quickly, and it was seriously like watching like a great I don't know how to describe it. Almost like he's like solving a puzzle, in so much as he can dodge anything, like down to like the nearest millimeter. He could like dodge every single thing
awesome.
coming at him, and pinpoint the perfect spot to like counter back with. And it's fascinating to watch those old fights. But yeah, just his personality, I think, especially, and that's kind of what made him famous initially, was that he was like the first black person who was like very outward and very like I don't know if flamboyant's the right word, but very like animated and expressive, and like talked a lot of shit, and was like, he wasn't like so reserved and like trying to be like polite and everything like everyone else at that time was. He was the first black, I don't know if it was sportsman or just in general, but like at least the first black sportsman who was not afraid to like get in people's faces no matter what race they were, and just declare himself as like, I'm the best. And like,
and he knows it.
Like,
he can prove it.
Yeah. And that's very entertaining to see, and just to see like how people were reacting in the 60s to this kind of thing. And just his personality, I felt like really hooked me whenever I first started getting into it. Good stuff. I recommend.
I can see why. So hopefully someday you get to go to the training compound.
Yeah, I forgot that's how this started, was trips to places. And I really want to go there, because there are old clips you can see of him training for the George Foreman fight and whatnot, like sparring in the ring that is still there.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
You can like get in that ring and take like have your picture taken and stuff like that. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
The
closest I've come, I think I've told you this, is like walking through parts of Louisville, and I think I walked close to like his house. I know I recall seeing signs for it.
And you were like, oh yeah, that guy lived there.
I was like, oh, that grill guy. The guy that has the grills.
Yeah, I think the grill guy lived there.
I didn't realize he was that famous. Yeah. But I think that's the closest I've ever come to something of historical significance to him.
I would like to go there.
And that wasn't intentional.
I would like to see his grave site. I'd like to see at some point.
Is that also there in Louisville?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know if I'll ever take like a trip to Louisville specifically to see those things or not.
Yeah,
but
you should.
I would like to at some point maybe see those, but I definitely, while I live where I live, would like to go see that training facility that I had built.
Short little day trip.
Because he would run in the mornings like down the roads near there, and
I'm out.
He had
morning runners.
He had all of these.
Those are the worst people.
Yeah, he had these like all these different like bunks and everything built up in different like shacks all around the training compound, where he would have like young fighters come and train with him.
He would just beat their ass. That was
his shit out of all of them. He's like, you're never going to be as good as me.
He just keeps just wailing on him. You thought you could beat me in my own house? He just needed like live meat to just beat on. Yeah.
There's like one last thing. There was like a really adorable interview that I remember watching. I don't remember what the show was, but it was maybe in the 90s.
Yeah.
I think. And so they were all old men pretty much at this point. And it was George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, and Joe Frazier were the three guests like there together. And it was just so cute to see like all three of them as older men, like so talking about how great the other ones were.
They could still beat your ass. It was so cute.
Yeah. Well, Muhammad Ali was in pretty bad shape.
No, he still could have though. He still could have. He definitely could have.
There was like a really sweet moment, I thought, where George Foreman was talking about his fight with Muhammad Ali and like whenever he got knocked down and that like at the end of that fight, and he was like, man, I've never been hit that hard before in my life and whatever. And he was talking about how Muhammad Ali was like the greatest fighter ever and stuff. And I think the host commented on like Muhammad Ali would always called himself the greatest, and Muhammad Ali, in his like barely at this point able to talk, was like, that was always just for promotion. I never actually believed it. And,
That's awesome.
and,
Yeah. He's like, that was just marketing,
Foreman,
guys.
Foreman and Fraser are just like, no, you're the best and shit like that. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And because George Foreman's side of that whole story is also fascinating because that was his first loss and it like ruined his life and it like changed his life and he like almost killed himself. And like him losing that fight,
Oof.
like sent him into a spin.
Wow.
And it like really fucked his life up. And he had like his fight after that loss, I think, is this crazy fight against somebody that I'm blanking on. And it is one of the craziest fights I've ever seen where like Foreman knocks this dude down and then the next round that dude knocks Foreman down and they're like back and forth fucking knocking each other down and back up and it goes back and forth. And I think Foreman ends up losing that fight also. And he goes back into the locker room after the fight and he's, according to his story, he like collapsed and was like dying.
Oh, wow.
And that was when he like found God.
Wow.
And like changed his whole life. Yeah. But the Muhammad Ali loss is really what did it because he was like this unbeatable on top of the world fucking like dude. And then he gets his ass kicked for the first time.
He was humbled. Yeah.
And so he goes from like the greatest to just like all of a sudden you're a piece of shit now. And like nobody cares anymore. And it like he's talked about how that just like for a period of time he had like been depressed, like severely depressed and was like considering suicide and stuff.
Dang.
Yeah, because it like really fucked him up. Yeah, it's fascinating all around.
Yeah.
Those old days. Yeah, I always thought if I had a time machine, I would probably go. I think the Ali Foreman fight. I think
wouldn't
might
like
be
kill
a
Hitler.
stop I would take.
Stop.
Nah,
Stop.
I'd go watch this boxing
Yeah.
fight.
Just you can do one thing. Anything.
Yeah.
Anything you want. Anything.
No, if
at all.
if I had one thing, I don't think that's what I would pick. But if I had like, if I had a machine and I could like choose multiple stops, that would be
Okay.
one that I would definitely want to make a stop
Okay.
at. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see like Stonehenge being built because there are a bunch of these things that like historical mysteries where it's like nobody knows for sure how this thing was done.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of those that I've heard about, and I'd be like, man, if I could, I would love to go back and see actually what that was, or see for real what happened, and know definitively what the answer was.
My take on all of those things, the pyramids, Stonehenge,
Mm-hmm.
the Easter Island statues, whatever other great ancient civilization thing that that we're just like baffled by. How did they do this? My answer to that is, and this is a later in life thing, it's starting to lean towards they just were bored and had all the time in the world. I think,
yeah, and like the people in charge had like all of these subservience that
exactly,
they could make do their bidding.
There was,
Yes.
yeah, like you had ample amount of manpower who were not doing anything else, and they were forced to do something. And they weren't also trying to go to the grocery store or go get a haircut or watch a TV show or have a vacation or spend time with friends. There's nothing else. They did that, and then they slept, and then they maybe ate,
Yeah.
and then they did that. And I
Yeah,
think
that's why I wouldn't. I mean, I would also make a pit stop probably if I had infinite possibilities, but one of my top choices wouldn't be to see the pyramids because I think it would just be a bunch of slaves building a thing.
well, plus it would take several.
It was like hundreds of
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
It'd be the slowest process. You'd have to
but I mean-
jump ahead, just fast forward.
But also you could see like definitively, oh, this was what built this. It was like all of these slaves working every day, all day. But I think Stonehenge specifically, I would be interested in seeing because I am really interested in how they would have transported those allegedly from South Wales or whatever,
Right.
like all that distance, and also to learn why and like.
But that's the other thing.
Like what purpose was it? There's a bunch of these things that I'd be curious to see.
My thing also goes to answer the why in the sense that I really think that as a society, as a species, I should say, not even just society, but as a species, we've really lost grasp, or we've lost touch with our ancient selves because we're so busy now. And I'm not like trying to say like we all need to calm down and do less. No, I'm just saying that like I think we as a species can do amazing things whenever that is all we do. Like the one, like look at like the ancient sculptors and like painters, or it's just, I mean, these civilizations that were built just from rocks and stone, and it's like it's incredible to think now. It's like, how did they do that? They don't have power tools, and they don't have. It's like, yeah, they just fucking had like 24 hours in a day, and they used most of that to move this rock 200 feet, and that was it. That's all they did that day. And then that person died, and their child took over, and they just continued to do that for hundreds of years, and that's all they did. And then whenever it was done, great, let's go now do something else or whatever, right? Or by the time that it was finished, the rest of society had advanced so much that then there were actual jobs or some kind of, more, I guess, modern or contemporary thing to do other than just build a structure. So, but figuring out the technical how, that would be kind of cool. Like what, what devices did they use, or what was the actual method other than just it took forever? Because clearly that's not always going to be the answer of like, they just moved it 2 inches a day. No, they didn't. But, they used some kind of contraption or, whatever.
And then
that'd
also
be kind of cool.
To stand those upright as well. Like
well,
what they use.
There's that video. I don't know if you've seen the video of the guy from, I think he's from Texas maybe, or somewhere, where he built his own by hand. And he shows one person, him only, lifting these giant stone pillars up into the air, and he does it like with just one finger sometimes because it's how it's balanced. And I'm not saying that's how they did it, but again, that's where I guess my interest would be like you said, like just the how, other than just having a lot of people and a lot of free time.
Yeah. I was curious to ask you, because obviously we didn't know anything about their cemeteries, but how much do you actually know about like the Romans?
I know they're from Rome.
Yeah,
which I think's in Italy.
Something like that.
I know that like they had like plumbing, like what we would consider like sort of semi-modern plumbing, which is actually I know that the shit, I'm blanking. That fuck words, damn it. The scientific symbol for lead, like on the periodic table of elements, is Pb, and that was because of the word that was used then for lead, and that's where we get the word, whatever that word was. That's where we get the word plumbing, is from lead. From the
Yeah, I think a lot of those elements, because they spoke Latin, and I think a lot of the elemental, a lot of them are Latin based.
I know that they had a very like it wasn't just like they were taking water from like one higher place to one lower place with lead pipes. Like they had an extensive network of how to store water.
Yeah, they had running water.
Yeah, they had, and not just that, but they also knew how to get that water to defy gravity. Like they knew how to pump it and put it under pressure of sorts, and so that was pretty amazing. Then of course they had the roadways that eventually became what we later developed into railways, based off of how that whole system was working with the cart paths and everything. In fact, some of those roads still exist, which is incredible to think of. I don't know if they were the first, but I know they were like one of like the major understanders, or they knew how to use best what would become concrete. So it wasn't just that they were using like found stones and cutting them down to make building blocks. They were doing that, but they also had ways to make their own stone, which is kind of awesome to think of. And
Did you know that they had central heating also?
I didn't. I know they had like what we would consider a very primitive form of heating and cooling. It was like an exchange system of depending on the weather.
They had like heated floors
Yeah.
in certain locations. They would like build things essentially on these like platforms where it was hollow
Yes.
beneath it,
Yeah.
and they would like burn. But they also would have these pipes that would transport the heat throughout, so it was essentially like central heating.
Right. And then they built those houses or those buildings or whatever in a way that we didn't realize this until much later, that they were specifically built for like airflow to exchange the inside temperature with the outside. Yeah.
So my latest kick has been this like, well, I've been going through a lot of this British history stuff, and I got like instantly like fascinated with like the Roman occupation of England.
Oh yeah.
Which I didn't know anything about, despite us making a movie about Roman
Did
burial
you find
grounds
out
in England.
if they buried people in mass graves?
Yeah, they in fact did bury. They had cemeteries, but yeah, no, I learned. I did not know any of this stuff beforehand. I didn't really know anything about the Romans, to be honest, other than they were like an advanced society. But learning about their like heated floors and running water that they had 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And then after the collapse of Rome, England wouldn't actually have these things until like the 1800s.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, it's insane until you realize how detrimental religion can be. And then you realize that, okay, maybe it's not really insane. It's kind of expected. And so, because I mean, in these same houses that they had, they had some kind of primitive HVAC and heated floors and internal plumbing and running water. They also had like rooms just for fucking each other. So as soon as the more Puritan-minded people found out about that, they shut that whole thing down. And maybe rightfully so. Who knows? I guess history will tell. But
yeah, there's no way to know.
But it seems like every time that a major religion comes in and shakes up a place or forces its rules and stuff, it seems like things take a step back.
Yeah, well, I know Christianity was also a part of Rome. In spread.
Yeah.
Because I think they brought it to England initially, and then I think the Anglo-Saxons, whenever they came to England, they were the ones that really made it you must be Christian.
Or
country.
die.
Because I'm kind of in the midst of like three kind of different historic like history of Britain things. So there's an excellent YouTube channel that if you don't know about it, it's called Knowledgia, Knowledgia.
Okay.
And it's not about any place in particular. It's just world history.
Right.
But they cover very specific portions of history relating to a region or whatever. And so there's like a whole episode or series of episodes about like the American Civil War, for example. They have like a bunch of stuff about American history. But they have a whole series of like history of England stuff, starting from like 30,000 BC all the way up to like the Roman or the British Empire and stuff like that. And they recently, by coincidence, just uploaded like a 5-hour video of just the history of Rome. And so they have a whole bunch of videos like this. And so I've been watching the history of Britain through that, like working through that series gradually, which each video is like 30 or so minutes. So it's not crazy. And then aside from that, I found a podcast called the British History Podcast. And I've been chronologically going through that from the beginning of British history. And that is a very detailed account, super good. It's this one dude telling you the story. Each episode's about half an hour long.
That's cool.
It's not like a YouTuber like trying to be funny, throwing jokes and shit,
Hey,
which is what I was
guys.
really afraid of.
Hey, guys.
Whenever I first started listening
Yeah.
to it, I was like, oh, this guy's gonna like try to be funny, or it's gonna be two people like making jokes. I don't really want that. No, it's just one dude, very well researched, telling you chronologically from the very beginning the history of Britain. And so I've been listening to that, and I think on that show I'm up to like maybe 100, the year 100 CE, somewhere around there. Like the Romans are still there, and the Anglo-Saxons, I think. Or no, I think where I am in that podcast, the Vikings are like about to arrive for the first time.
From Scotland, right?
And so I have that. From Scotland, yes. That's how they talk, of course. If you're not familiar with this, you need to really listen to our regular show.
I hope you are, at least.
I know. If you're just listening to this, I don't know what choices you're making.
Poor ones.
Yeah. And then the third source that I'm going from is I've been going through this 3-volume. I'm on volume 1. It's just I can't remember what the book is called. I think it's just called A History of Britain, volume 1. There you go. And that one is less detailed than the podcast, but it's just kind of going through hitting the beats, you know?
Yeah.
And that one I am like past the Viking invasion. I'm in like the Anglo-Saxon era on that one. So I have like 3 different history sources. Fascinating. But the Roman stuff has been really, that stuff really captured my imagination.
Yeah.
And there was the story of that I text you a long thread about Boudica, who led a revolt against the Romans as a woman in the year 60.
That's
and
crazy.
Like slaughtered a ton of Romans. They like raided and burnt down like military posts, and then they invaded and burnt down what is now London and murdered like 70 to 80,000 people.
Insane.
In the process. Like every Roman they would find, they would murder, and then every Briton they would find that was like amongst the Romans also were not spared. They were fucking murdered, every one of them.
Wow, that's insane.
That story really blew my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And she, if they were successful, she could have, her army could have like overthrown Rome, like at the height of their power from England. But they got their asses kicked by like an army 1/10 their size.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. That story really blew my mind. And I thought that should be a movie. And then I found out that it was a movie that's not very good, apparently. So that's a bummer. Somebody should make a good movie.
A good version of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it wasn't the story. Maybe it was how the story was told, or other elements that
seems
because it seems like it'd be pretty compelling watch.
Yeah, I think so. That's like from all 3 of these sources, that's been a story that has really jumped out to me immediately.
Right.
Like whenever I first watched the video on YouTube, whenever he briefly mentioned that, I was like, what the fuck? And I like paused it and I looked this up and I was like, in the year 60, this woman led an army of like 100,000 people.
That's awesome.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Against the Romans?
Allegedly. Yeah,
like
against the
not
Romans.
just like it's like every element of that story,
not just against another tribe.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. It's like
the like super advanced, like good specifically at fighting Roman military. Yeah, and then based on the stories, apparently like the size of her army was actually like what made them lose, because it was like such a large group that they weren't able to like efficiently move properly.
Okay.
And so they came up to this group supposedly of like 10,000 Romans, and these 10,000 Romans fought off this like roughly 100,000 plus army of hers. And it was like the terrain where it's believed this fight took place, and just like how big her army was, that the Romans were able to like more efficiently fight against them. Like there wasn't room for her own army to fight, essentially.
Too big. That's crazy.
And so yeah, they just got killed. And then everybody was so confident that her army was going to win this battle that there were like wagons and chariots that had come of like their armies, like families and people from the nearby towns who had like come to watch this fight. And so they were like perched atop this hill to watch this fight. And the Romans began like killing all of these people coming at them. And so they started to retreat. But because all of those wagons and chariots were up there, it actually blocked them from being able to retreat.
Oh no!
And so the Romans like murdered every
Get out the
one
way.
of them. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I thought that story was insane. But yeah, as the guy on the podcast always says, you have to take some of this with a grain of salt because it's all from the Roman perspective. There's
That's
no
true.
history about any of this from any of the tribes because the Romans destroyed everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, he always makes a specific note of like how much of this was just like dramatization to like rally the troops or whatever. But he said even from their account, this battle, her army had like 250,000 people.
Jeez.
And so he said on the podcast, the guy is like, so if we assume that they're dramatizing that, and we even conservatively say the real army was like half of that, that's still 100,000 people that she would have had in this group.
Or even just like a tenth of it. Like that's, that's still a massive amount of people.
Yeah. I don't know. That story really fucking blew my mind. I don't know. I got just obsessed with Rome at the moment.
Yeah, I think one of the things...
I just love history in general. I think that stuff is... I just love history, I think is the thesis.
History is fascinating, but it like you brought up a good point, and I've heard a quote before, and I don't know if I'm saying it right or who to even attribute it to, but it was like... So I'm paraphrasing. It was... history is from the perspective of the winner.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
Right.
So yeah, so it's like as fascinating as history is, it also makes me always like think of like what stories are just no long, like we don't even know because that side lost or that tribe died out or that civilization didn't survive or whatever it is, and not necessarily winner in the sense of like battle, but just who advanced the story, who
or
took what they knew
or
and
like
then kept what they didn't care about.
Like what the the guy in the show keeps kind of bringing up of like also think about like what is the reason for them writing this history down, whereas like he notates the Romans using a lot of this stuff most likely as like propaganda to rally up Rome and blah blah blah.
Did this even happen at all? It could be
right. Yeah, because that's another thing that he brings up, which is despite these stories, he specifically on the podcast actually brings up how like you hear this story and you think, oh, there must be like mass graves under London somewhere, but there has never. There hasn't ever been any like confirmed thing.
All those
relating
bones
to this
were crushed up and used to make buildings and houses, and
the only like physical evidence that at least that on the podcast that he has noted about any of this taking place is that her army, whenever they sacked, I think London, one of the military bases or London, whenever they sacked the town, they would cut off the heads of the Roman statues and throw them into the river.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those heads has been found in the river. And that's like the only piece of physical proof, but there's like no physical body of her Boudica's that has ever been found. There's like no mass grave of like 70,000 people that's been found.
Basically what you're saying is this Roman army came into what is now like the London area or England. Maybe an individual got mad and cut off the statue's head, and then that person was instantly killed.
And they like just made up the rest.
And they went back and said, the Democrats are burning cities, and they're Portland's a horrible hellhole, and it's just there's mass chaos everywhere.
It's horrible. 70, 80,000 dead. It's insane.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I do like that this guy does bring that stuff up. He doesn't just like tell you these stories. He also does bring in the like, yeah, you also have to like, I'm telling you this stuff, but also keep in mind who the story is told from the perspective
well,
of.
And that goes back to like the, you brought up, like, you would like to see how Stonehenge was constructed, and also maybe figure out why, and I like to play with the idea on some of these things that are still around, right?
Mm-hmm.
That the story that we know, or that we think we know behind them, is just something that was made up to explain away pure nonsense. Like they just built a stone circle because that was what sounded fun at the time.
The guy in charge was like, this would be cool looking.
Yeah. Or even I also want to flirt with the idea of just like, I don't know, let's fuck with some people in the future and just and just make them think that this has some significance to us,
One day they're going to really ponder about this a lot.
They're going to think like
Ponder rock, if you will.
Yeah, they're going to there we go. They're going to be like, this had to have some kind of meaning behind it, and they literally just built it because they were like, I think it would look nice to have some stones on this hill.
Yeah. I also like that podcast he actually doesn't go into Stonehenge at all. He mentions it, and then he's just he's like, you can read or watch anything you want, like any of a million things about Stonehenge. So we're not really going to talk about that at all.
There's nothing he can add to that.
I appreciated that. I was glad that he didn't do like a whole episode about it or anything.
Right. It would be cool to see how and maybe figure out why. Yeah. But like I said, there is still that possibility that it was just done just because,
Yeah. I mean, in theory, there's no way to prove or disprove that that's not the case. There's like one of my favorite recent dollops was, this was more recent than I think should be proud of, but there was like a whole thing that everybody in America was doing where it was like pole sitting.
Yes.
Where it started where a dude just like sat on a chair on top of a pole for longer than anyone ever had, and like people gathered in crowds and were watching and like got obsessed with it, and it became like a competition where people wanted to set the record for like sitting on a pole the longest.
And then like if someone were to,
and this wasn't really that long ago, this was like
the 30s or 40s,
relatively recently. It was like, this was amassing crowds of people who wanted to come and see a person
because there was
sit
nothing
on
else
pole.
to fucking do.
Yes, exactly.
That's why we built a circle of rocks.
Crazy.
Yeah, there was nothing to fucking do. Damn it. Yeah. Yeah. And then 10,000
like that
years.
one dollop where it's like a dude was like walking backwards.
Yes.
Across like a few states, and people would like gather up and like watch this guy walk backwards.
Yeah, just why not? Yeah. But I like to think about like, things like the pole sitting, or even, like random things that we've built that aren't like religiously symbolic or, historically even significant by any means. Just, things that we've put up, right? And I like the idea of thinking like 10,000 years from now or more, someone happens to find some kind of evidence of this pole setting, but not enough of it to explain who or why, just the act of, and maybe the a little bit of the information that it was, something that drew people, right? And then that sparks a whole fucking religion or something about pole sitting.
A ritual to the gods.
Yeah, they used to build these giant poles towards the sky, and they elected one individual to sit up there and speak to their god to be closer. Yes. And then everyone would stand around and wait for his message, and it's like, no, the guy was just fucking bored, and it was like it was between a war. And and there was
he set a record, though.
He did.
You can't deny him that.
That's right. Yeah, I like that.
And then it got to like a point where this one woman had essentially built like a platform up there, and there was like a chair, and there was like a little sleeping spot and stuff like that, and people were getting pissed off because they're like, "Oh, she's cheating. She's not doing it right.
She's not following the rules that were made up by a guy." And
Yes. It's amazing. That was one of my favorite episodes.
I just love how like just arbitrary everything is that we actually do. That none of this means fucking anything, and we want so badly for there to be a divine reason or significance or pattern or something behind it, yet we're also guilty of just making up whatever reason we want to justify whatever it is we want to do, and that's where part of me with like history is like, oh, the Romans had all this technology, they must have known, everything, and they must have been so advanced, and maybe there were aliens, or maybe that, they
Aliens.
yeah, right. And it's like, or maybe, they just fucking, I don't know, they just had a thought one day and they just did it, and there was no reason why. And then here we are, 4,000 years later trying to figure out what the fuck that they did, and we're like, oh, it had to have been this. No, it was just a fucking Thursday before Thursdays existed, and they didn't have anything else to do, so they did it, and it worked, and they kept doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're a boring species. We have no purpose or meaning at all.
Yeah. I am very fascinated how there are so many things that they allegedly came up with like 2,000 years ago that we still like use or carry on today.
Well,
as far as like just like ways of life.
Yes. Well, but part of me also wonders.
Fascinating. I love it.
It is what they did so incredibly advanced, or is it just one of those it ain't broke so don't fix it sort of situations where it's just like what they did worked, so the reason that we're still doing it to this day is because we don't have a drive to figure out a different way to do it, which I think is part of it, clearly. But I think a lot of people put more weight into the fact that like the Romans were some genius of civilization. In reality, I think we're just idiots, and we're just like, well, what we're doing now works, and they did it, 2,000 years ago, so why not? It's like there's no reason to like reinvent, how a whole society functions, basically, because we're so ingrained in the way that we do things. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's fascinating.
Well, basically what I'm trying to do, later, Thomas, is this is what happened with you in In-N-Out. I'm trying to de-hype you from the Roman Empire.
Well,
they weren't that great.
Really
they were an average
they
empire. They
made everything up, and they were fine.
Yeah, they were fine. Okay, there's other empires that were fine, and you just know more about the Romans because of marketing. It's just good marketing.
I am excited to get to like the 1600s and beyond, and get into like the British Empire stuff. Because I really don't know much, other than obviously like the colonialism and stuff. But I don't know much about like the rise and the fall and stuff like that, other than like the world wars bankrupting them. But
what really
I don't
fascinates
know a lot
me
about everything in general.
With that era,
I don't know a lot about everything in general.
Well, definitely
answer.
But what the part of history that really fascinates me, and I guess because it's like, like tangible isn't the right word, but it's like it's like close enough to us now that it seems both a long time ago and also not that long, and it kind of blows my mind in that sense. But like the Industrial Revolution, like that seems like so far in history that happened, but it really and truly was not. And the fact that like it took us forever, however long we've been around, doing all these advancements in society and species and everything else with tool and making and civilization and whatever, that it sort of was actually kind of in our history extremely recent that we decided, oh hey, machines can do things for us.
Yeah. Do you know what city is credited as being the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution?
I think it's like Iron Bridge or Iron Ton or something like that in the UK or in England.
Manchester.
Is it near there? Is Iron Bridge near there?
I don't know. Never heard of it.
It's somewhere near there where like there was a town. Yeah, that's like. I didn't know that it was Manchester specifically, but aren't they like the city of industry or something like that?
Is it? Wait, what? What is this town?
I think it's called like Iron Bridge.
Well, I searched Iron Bridge UK, and all I keep finding is an
Iron Bridge.
A specific bridge called the Iron Bridge.
Yeah, no,
located in Shropshire.
I think that's the one.
Shropshire.
So maybe it's not like the city, but it's the area that It's the first. It was like that is the very first iron
World's
bridge.
first major bridge made of cast iron,
Yeah.
completed in 1781.
In the 1700s, and that seems like
They were advanced.
well, yeah, but it seems like so like again like we I guess it's just taking for granted what we the machines we have or whatever, but it seems like that should be such a further back in history sort of thing, but it's like our own country is barely older than the Industrial Revolution, which is wild to think about.
Yeah, that's one reason why one of many reasons why I'm so fascinated with England, which obviously there's a lot of places everywhere essentially is older than America, but I'm just fascinated with how much history there is to England. Like, you can stand in a castle that's like 700 years older than America.
Right.
And I think that's incredible.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Right.
Because there's these castles that are built in like the 1000s.
Yeah.
As we know them.
But even me,
and I think that's incredible. I would love to just stand in a place and be like, this structure that I am standing within is 700 years older than the country I'm from. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, as amazing as it is, as like tangible proof that we've been.
Go
around.
ahead, talk me down.
Yeah,
talk me down.
There are better burgers out there, is what I'm saying. No, I was just going to say that like it's also amazing to see like how much time it took to just do that compared to like the incredible like leaps and bounds of ingenuity that we're doing in the last 200 years, right? Like that also just blows my mind that like yeah, there are still castles that like exist from the 1000s or whatever. Like that's incredible that like that can still even be a thing that is still structurally sound in some sense or whatever, or there's still proof of it hasn't like withered away. But then it's also like we invented flight, and then like a couple decades later we were in space, and it's just like that is stupid. Like I just think like the Romans would see us now and be like, you guys are the aliens. Like
no, they'd be like, well, if we had the money you guys have,
yeah, it's like
we could have done that.
Bitch,
too.
We did more with less time.
Some Roman is like, oh, I thought of space too.
I thought of space. Yeah, I was just busy.
I wanted to go to the moon.
Busy building a road that took 25 years to do a quarter mile.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's tons of history in the UK and in England, and I'd love to go. But yeah, the Industrial Revolution part of things just really fascinates me as far as like that.
I'm also
was a huge spark.
I'm also very.
Go ahead.
Very conscious of like. I think, I also think a lot about like. How much of my fascination with England is because I'm white, as opposed to like any of these other places that have like thousands of years of history,
and
like
it's also,
China. I would visit China.
Yeah.
I don't. I actually would.
I would like to for the history too. Yeah.
And Hong Kong also, and so there's stuff like that. But I've always been more like strongly drawn to England, and I wonder how much of it is just like, well, obviously there is just like
sure.
they speak the same language, which helps.
No, yeah, but I mean,
but like, yeah. So I think I always think about this draw to Europe, and I guess it is probably just like the Western culture is more relatable than Eastern culture.
Again, it's just marketing. Like that's what we're that's what we're told about, and also the amount of dominance that Europe played in like the early development of what we consider modern civilization through brute force, and killing of people. That I think that's just why it I guess resonates the most with those who know about it, I guess, but clearly there's like amazing history anywhere you go as far as our species is concerned. But I'm the same way. Like I guess I just know more about the history of that part of the world than any other. So I'm just, I guess, just naturally more inclined to want to know more. I guess, but
plus they have the best music.
Well, there's also that. Yeah,
that helps. Yeah, So yeah, I always do kind of like in the back of my mind think about that and how much, um, like I don't know. I guess it is mostly just like Western culture is a lot more recognizable to an American than
Yeah,
Eastern culture, which I'm also interested in, but I have a much stronger
I
interest and
think. Okay, so
fascination in the
here's the thing that maybe
Europe stuff.
help explain it and not make it seem as truly bigoted as it is. Um,
We keep we're bookending this episode
yeah,
on bigotry.
I think the problem and also the reason this is the same for this problem and where it starts out at. And maybe this isn't true for you, but for me it is.
Be careful now.
Yes. I'm going to say that a big part of my reasoning or excuse for having an interest in this part of the world and this history is because with curiosity, you need to have a starting point. And with other cultures in the world and other histories in the world, I don't know where to start. So therefore, my curiosity can't be steeped as quickly.
Uh-huh. I have thought about that too, about China specifically, with just like how much
Yeah.
there is and how intimidating.
Well, even even early India, Africa. Like I'm sure there's, and even like the Middle East, right? Like there's so much there, but I don't know where to start. And that's
Potentially where civilization began.
Definitely. Yeah. I don't know where to start, which is both my fault and also just how I was taught,
So we don't really learn anything about any of those
which
places.
is both something that I can fix and choose to fix.
Because this is also part of my interest in all of this English history as well, is like, I don't remember learning any of this stuff because we're not in England. So I always remember history in school just being like, okay, and the Mayflower came to America and
here we are.
We became friends with the natives.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it starts.
I think that's also the other part of this. I was just getting ready to say too, is that so much of our own history
we had Thanksgiving
in this country is like clearly just a lie, or we
came over here and these lovely natives welcomed us and they helped us through the first winter, and we gave them a Thanksgiving meal, and
yeah, and we were always friends,
and we don't ask where they are now. So that's kind of where my real deep dive into all of this English history came from, and I also do very specifically have fascination in England and less so in Wales or Scotland or Ireland.
Sure.
I specifically have like deep interest in England, and so whenever stuff starts going into like Welsh territory,
you're like, fuck those guys.
I don't I don't check out completely, but I definitely do have like self-noticeably less interest in like Welsh stuff. Or if like music, even, for example, like if a band is English, I'm more inclined to be interested in listening to them as opposed to like this band is Welsh, even though it's basically this same thing.
That's rude.
Attached to the same land. It's a part of the same exact island.
The same shape on a map.
Yes. But for some reason, no, because there was like, I discovered that band Manic Street Preachers recently, and they're Welsh, which
you were like instantly thumbs down.
Yeah, I was like, well, they have an uphill battle.
All these hard words and a weird accent.
Yeah, that singer's accent is very strange, and it makes some of the words actually hard to understand.
Welsh is very
their songs.
difficult, yeah.
I've had to. There are multiple songs. So the first song of theirs that I listened to that I actually wanted to recommend you, and I haven't, and maybe we should before we record
Welsh.
next.
I fucking hate Welsh.
No, yeah. See, we're an anti-Welsh podcast. No, the first song of theirs that I ever listened to is this song called "Motorcycle Emptiness." Is the name of the song. And I listened to it and I was like, whoa, this is not what I expected. And then I immediately realized that I couldn't understand any of the words. But I was like, this sounds really good though. This is great. And then I looked up the words and I'm like, oh my God, this is like an 80s power ballad sounding song, but it's about consumerism. And I had no idea. It's fucking great. It actually made me really enjoy the song even more, like reading what the words actually are. And then it's interesting to read those words because it's one of those situations where like once you're reading the lyrics, you're like, oh, how could I not hear that?
Yeah.
But there are words that he very specifically pronounces really strangely.
Sure,
like
yeah.
there,
It's a weird accent.
He says,
unique.
There's a part where he says something about ghetto, but he doesn't say ghetto. He says gato. Whatever he says it, and so it makes it really. I had to listen to it a couple of times to be like, oh,
got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's the Welsh accent's really strange.
Being able to read lyrics like in real time, like I use that feature on Apple Music quite a lot. And I love that. Because there are a lot of even like American songs where I've heard them for a good chunk of my life, and I maybe know like 80% of the lyrics, but I'm not quite there on every single one. Yeah. And then I read, and I go, oh, holy shit! That's what they've been saying. That's
what I went down this rabbit hole a year or so ago. So my favorite band of all time, Enter Shikari, been listening to since I was like 12 years old. Heard every song of theirs a billion times.
Right.
But I went down this rabbit hole of reading their lyrics, like just specifically sitting down and reading the words.
It's all really questionable stuff. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa.
Tap out.
No, quite the opposite. Yeah, I gained like even deeper appreciation because there's like this song of theirs called Mothership that I've listened to 1,000 million times. It was like the second song of theirs I ever listened to. So I was like 12 years old when I first heard this song. Can't tell you how many times I've listened to it. And then, right, I came out of the womb to that song.
12, yeah.
Reading the lyrics, and then I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is fucking, like, I've sung these words so many times, but I never thought about them. Yeah, these lyrics are fucking brilliant. And this guy was like 20 years old when he wrote this song. Yeah. And it's about fucking like global warming, and I had no idea. And it's like, it's interesting symbolism.
Would you like it as much as if he was Welsh?
No.
Okay.
I would get rid of those albums if I found out they were Welsh this whole time.
Now lost all of our listeners from that part of the country, that part of the world.
We're sorry. Wales, I do love you, and I would love to visit your country. It looks absolutely beautiful.
Why do you keep winking?
Well, this is an audio podcast. They're not seeing that.
Oh, sorry.
You're supposed to keep that part quiet.
I was supposed to say that out loud. All right, let's go to the normal show then.
All right.
By Wales.
That was really bad.
Welsh accent.